Good day, everyone. This is Corey Bird. Welcome to Bird's Eye View Comic Art. Today I will be working on page 5 of issue 3. For those of you who have not seen or purchased the first 2 issues of Tooth and Nail, this is how they look. There they are. If you would like to purchase a copy, please contact me through Facebook, through Tooth and Nail Comic, or birdseyeviewcomics.com, or leave a message down below the video. Or you can also email me at birdseyeviewcomics@gmail.com. This is issue 1 and 2, and today I'll be working on issue 3, page 5. And I won't be recording too many of these. Maybe once in a while I'll record these as I work on these pages, because I don't want to give away too much as what's going on in the comic without people, checking it out, purchasing it, or whatever you might want to do. But any purchase you want to make, you can make it through PayPal, Zelle, or anything, and I'll mail it out to you. If you feel safer about PayPal, that's great. I have a PayPal account through my wife, so I can give you the information, and we work it out. I haven't got a store together yet. I'm trying to figure that out, but when I do, I would definitely let everybody know. Once again, it's birdseyeviewcomics@gmail.com or Tooth and Nail Comic on Facebook. So today I am working on page 5 of issue 3. So this will be the first panel I'm working on here. I usually just lay it out through a thumbnail first, and then I'll go in and draw it. These squares that I got here are they're going to be changed when I actually put it into the program that I'm working in called Comic Draw on my iPad. So I won't be discussing that much about what's going on and everything like that until the issue comes out, but at least you could get a glimpse of my art style and what I'm doing and everything like that. And then maybe you'll want to check it out, check out what Tooth and Nail is all about. So right here I'm doing a little bit of worm's eye view. With the master of our main characters. This is actually a flashback scene. And it's a worm's eye view where the frontal character is looking up at the master. So when doing worm's eye view, you gotta be aware of. I like to do it in shapes. It won't look like that in the end, but just to get an idea of what's going on. Master has kind of a goofy hair, and it didn't originally start off as that. It actually it was actually very flat when I first drew this character, but it kind of evolved into this like almost a sideshow Bob from The Simpsons look to him, and it just kind of stuck. And what I'm using here is a mechanical pencil, nothing special. Just a Staedtler, nothing special at all. more advanced pencils and pens that I use later on as I continue to work on the rendering. So those who don't know the story of Tooth and Nail, I think I explained a little bit of it in my other video where I was working on page 1. Of issue 3. But if your first video of seeing Tooth and Nail, it's a battle of anamorphic characters. Rats. Right now it's rats and cats who are fighting against each other. But things are little secrets and everything like that about the past of the characters are slowly being unraveled, especially with the cats. And they're called Neko in my book, which is Japanese for cats. And the rats are called Rado, which is Italian for rat. Ratto. So the master here is discovering one of the main characters of the group of Neko that I created named Destiny. This is a slight origin flashback. The script is done by my son. This script is, the other scripts were pretty much done by me. Actually, there was no scripts for those. It was just, I worked on just telling a story with the art. I didn't do a script. But this time there is a script that's being written. With this page, I'm kind of improvising. My son hasn't finished the script yet, but I have an idea of what I wanted to do with this page. And then after I'm done, I'll show this to my son so he'll know where I'm coming from with this page. And he'll continue from that. So when drawing from this situation, I do a thumbnail first, as I mentioned. And then as I'm drawing, I flesh it out more. And this here in the foreground is Destiny. He has a mysterious power that is extremely dangerous to the Neko, but to everybody actually. And the master here is finding him. Without giving out too much, it's not a good situation. But like I said, it's a past situation, and there's a bit of an origin story for Destiny that will be slowly revealed as we continue to go on and on and on with the story. So I just sketched it out right there. I might go back and I might change some things, but I just wanted to get it laid out. tip for drawing at this angle is to think of shapes, you know, basic cylinders and circles and stuff like that. I say that's stuff like that a lot. I gotta learn how to say something different besides stuff like that. But I'm not used to recording, as you might can tell. I think I mentioned that on my other video. But I think I'll get better and better at this as I go along, as any art. As any art of recording. I learned something from another artist, I think it was David Finch, that when you draw hands and arms and stuff like that, try to have them bend. Because when we do things, our arms are like not like robots where we stick our arms out. It usually something twists or turns because there's muscles and joints and stuff like that. So there goes this stuff like that again. Sorry. There's muscles and joints. And when you draw these things, it's like, make sure that, you know, your characters look natural when they move around. So that way you can make it look a little more, more realistic. Because when, as 2D artists, we're supposed to make our 2D art look 3D. Try not to make it too flat. Destiny's an all-black cat, and he has this black substance called dark crimson or black crimson that comes from his body, that emanates from his body. So the black crimson kind of melds into the way he looks. I mean, not the way he looks, but his own color. But it kind of like flows from him like a flame. Or almost like a mist. But I don't really want to do mist. I would probably say a flame. But he's a little kid right now, and he has no power over this mist. You know, he doesn't really know how to control it. And so when Geen, the master here, who discovers him, finds him, Geen has had a experience with this black crimson before, and he'll know how to help Destiny control it. But he's gonna eventually, at first he's gonna do this like by secret, but eventually the Neko village will find out, and they're gonna want to use it as their own to protect themselves. It's almost like Destiny's gonna become like their personal weapon. So that's the pencils for panel 1. My wife the other day, she asked me, was like, why do you do the hatching and then go back over it with the inks? You know, when you kind of get rid of the hatching that you did. But I'm not really getting rid of the hatching. I'm just like placing the shadows now so that I'll know where they are and I don't have to like try to guess it while I'm doing the inks. And I think I mentioned this before, but on my last video is that, you know, usually a penciler would just, well, some pencilers, they will still do the shadows and stuff like that. Well, they'll do the shadows for the inker, so the inker will know where the shadows will be. But I'm the penciler and I'm the inker, so I really don't have to do that. But I like to do it because I just like the way the pencil looks before I lay down the inks, and so that I can get an idea, you know, of where I'll be placing the shadows and the dark spots and stuff like that. So here I'm kind of changing from my thumbnail the layout of this panel on the fly. This is the original thumbnail. So right here is the hand. This is the panel right here. But I'm changing the angle of the panel so I can fit this in more clearly and get it a more dynamic look to it. So a few things might change here. But sometimes you just got to do stuff like that on the fly, you know. But that's what thumbnails are, you know. Thumbnails are thumbnails. They're there to just give you an idea of what you want to do with the drawing itself. I wouldn't just say panels, but you know, any kind of drawing that you work on. Make that finger a little bit bigger. You want to sketch it out first. You want to get an idea of placement and size and stuff like that. And with the comic book, you definitely have to be sure where things are going to be, since you know you're going to be lettering it, stuff like that. So you want to make sure you have enough space to work with. So right here again is cutting this finger. Got a little bit of blood there. And don't worry about the lines. You know, the lines are going to be totally straight right now. Because I'm just kind of laying everything out on the page. So it might look a little sloppy at first. That's why you have cleanup. You know, you just clean things up. So if anybody here has been to C2E2 here in Chicago, or any kind of con, you know, anywhere else, leave a comment below and tell me what you think of the conventions during this time. I know it's kind of rough for a lot of people. Actually, I think I'm going to go ahead and use a ruler real quick just to get just straighten that up a little bit more. I'm using a mechanical pencil all the way through for the sketching because I wanted to have thin lines. But yeah, leave comments below your experiences at conventions. Ours was pretty nice this year. It was, you know, we did like a Christmas thing with my kids. My kids are older now, so they're not all into the getting up early in the morning, opening presents. So I decided, since, you know, over here in Chicago, since C2E2 was in December, which is odd because usually C2E2 is in the spring or the summer. And it will be, you know, in the summer again next year. but was like, well, since it's going to be C2E2 now, you know, let's go have some fun. I didn't get the chance to present this year. Didn't have the time or the money. But we were able to go and have a good time, and kids got to get the Christmas presents on their own. You know, they get to pick what they wanted. So there you go. Just a quick sketch out of. I'm not going to do too much rendering in this video because it'll take a little longer. But just sketch things out so you can know the placement of where everything is at. And this is going to change too from the original. Sketch that I laid out. Instead of being straight across, I decided to do it on an angle since I did that. Went on an angle. With the blood on the knife. Or the short sword. And the black crimson. Reaching up for it. I try to give a little life to the black crimson. It's almost like Venom a little bit, but it's not, you know, an alien symbiote or anything like that. Something totally different. And the black crimson is also like searing hot, except for the person who wields it. So that's why it's called black flame or black crimson. I didn't even say that if it's black crime or black crimson. I didn't even give the. I call it black crimson because it's like liquidy, like a blood type thing, but it's also extremely hot. So that's why it's also black flame. So it kind of has two different components to it. It was an accident that I'm going to use. And I'm going to do like this weird connection here in this panel. Let's bring it down a little bit more. That I thought of when I did the layout. Since it's coming from Destiny as a little kid. But I don't want his whole face to be shown here. With the crimson. Reaches out to the blood. I switched over to to a HB pencil. Since there's a lot going on this page or this panel. Shows whiskers there. Due to the Black Crimson's influence on Destiny's body, his eyes are almost blank. Or they are blank. There's no pupil. You can cut the panel off there. There won't be too much going on. Almost make it look like a hand in a way. These little particles here kind of go into the flame situation. So it won't totally look like just goo. Really don't want it to look like goo, but it kind of does that, but it's supposed to be like a flame situation. Then our final panel. Is the older version of Destiny. In his home. Waking up from meditating. In a lotus pose. I probably won't keep those lines. After I drew them, I'm like, I don't think I like that. And that's why there has been erasers created. Never be too afraid to use erasers. I was gonna do this thing where he's like waking up from, you know, almost like a nightmare type thing, but I feel like that was just kind of typical. So I decided to make him wake up from a meditation. Don't like that arm. Go to this arm. Have him grabbing his clothes a little intensely. Tricky doing that. So let's clear the waters there. Clean this up a little bit. Sometimes you just go by what your first thought is. And then as you draw it, you just kind of like, I don't think I like that. I might actually go back to the arm I had before. This is the first time I've drawn Destiny without his cloak. So you're witnessing the first time me doing something of a character I created. So I'm kind of playing a little bit of a guessing game myself as I'm drawing. But it'll work out fine. Might just go back to the way I had the arm before. But take a little bit more from my thumbnail. At least the expression. Realize something. If he has those goggles on all the time, why would his eyes be so big? Trying to be too anime. That's better. So let's make the arm. Go forward a little bit more. Twist. Hands as cylinders. makes a little bit more sense. Gonna have the black crimson coming from it, almost consuming. His whole entire hand. His inside his paw should be more white than black, but because of his condition with the black crimson, even his palms are becoming black itself. And to find out the origin of the black crimson, you have to come later on and find out where it comes from. I won't be revealing too much of that right now. That's something that's going to come down the road. Let's get that shoulder up a little bit more. It's almost he's in a relaxed pose, but he was in a relaxed pose. And Destiny, he doesn't really get afraid of too much of anything because of what he's been through with the black crimson. So in his character, he wouldn't be like totally terrified of the situation. And plus he's, you know, he's used to what he goes through. But it still, you know, bothers him and everything like that. Let's render some more of the fingers here. Gripping on the pants. I had to do a little research of this to make it look more real. Under all that cloak, Destiny is quite muscular and built, but he is a fighter. So you gotta give him that physique. I mean, he is a cat. I don't really need to, but put the old whiskers on there. And I'll probably just save the effects for my next video when I start doing more rendering. This is the other foot here, resting on the other leg. I'll fix that up later. Make that a little bit more plausible. I'm digging into the nails of his pants, his belt. Because he's all black, you know, you can't really show a lot of definition without certain, you know, lines and stuff like that. like shapes and stuff like that, so that it doesn't look, all black and you can't see any definition. So like if you notice with like characters that wear all black in comics, you also got to remember the lighting. Like Venom and people wear all black, in comic books. Even Spawn is not his whole outfit, but parts of his outfit is colored dark. So sharpen my pencil here. Some of these lines seem to be too confusing. And I can always do that when I go in the ink. I can always like use my white jelly roll Sakura pens to show the definition. I've done it in other drawings and stuff like that. Let's use some of these pencil marks to give old Destiny some more effect here. Just made a mistake there, turn it into something else. Mistakes can be used to your advantage. Of course, you got a little smudging here due to my hand. You always clean that up with a good old-fashioned eraser. Use a little bit of a more darker pencil to show where things are, so I don't lose things when I finally do the final part. This foot there looking weird. I'll fix it later. These are like some baggy pants, so I want to make sure those textures remain. Trace over the outline so you can see things a little bit more clearly. His pants are also black too, but I'm not going to worry about that right now because I don't want things to get too confusing at this point. But I put little X's just to remind me that's going to be black. Let it bleed over into the other panel. Give some little bit of dynamics here and so there we go. Right now, this is what I have so far for this page. I'm going to save the other rendering and details for another video, so this one don't go on too long. But this is my process of, you know, working on tooth and nail. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Helps out a lot. Really appreciate it if you could do that. Please make comments below. Anything that'll help me grow, you know, any comments of what I can improve on and what I can work on to get better, and any ideas you might have. So thank you very much for checking out this video. More details of this page will be coming soon. I'll be finishing it up on here in black and white and gray in the next video. Thanks and have a great day. And Merry Christmas.